If you're enjoying Pigoted Podcast, then why not sign up to our Patreon? You can find it at patreon.com/pigoted, and on there you get loads of extra benefits, such as early access to episodes. You get access to Pigoted Extra, which is extra content from our guests, usually about 45 minutes to an hour long of extra content every single week. You get merchandise, you get to ask questions, you get to be part of our Discord community. We have a Discord server where people chat and ask questions and discuss topics that have been brought up on the podcast. You get all that through Patreon, and it starts from just £3 a month. Plus, you'll be supporting the podcast. You'll be helping the podcast to grow, helping us to fund bigger and better guests and to pay for all the editing and that kind of thing. So please, if you are enjoying Pigoted, then think about signing up and becoming a Patreon from just £3 a month over at patreon.com/pigoted. Welcome to Pigoted Podcast. Joining me today is TV producer Tom Solan. Hi, Tom.
Hello.
And joining us as our expert is Paralympian, medal-winning Paralympian, no less, Jack Hunter-Spivey. Hi, Jack.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Sweet. Let's move you slightly closer to that
sorry.
mic there. I was literally about to pull your chair forward. I don't know the etiquette, but let's see.
Yeah.
20 seconds in and already I've committed a faux pas. It's going to be one of those fucking podcasts, isn't it? So yeah, we're going to talk about the Paralympics and stuff. You are a TV producer. You've done some work on Paralympics.
Yeah, I worked on the Olympic Museum.
The Olympic Museum.
It's like 10 years ago. They had a big revamp and they wanted loads of footage in the Olympics Museum in Switzerland.
They wanted footage of what?
Like the Olympics. It was like
the Olympics Museum.
Yeah, they were the Olympics, and
maybe we should have some footage of these events. No.
So they were doing like all mad screens and interactive stuff, and so I went to Switzerland. I went to the museum.
All right.
It was very exciting. And I was really excited, to see the Olympic flame, because the Olympic flame's there. So I was like,
It's there.
yeah, it's
all
there.
the time.
It's there outside. So I was like, amazing, the Olympic flame, the eternal flame. Dead excited to see it.
Atomic kitten.
Yeah, and I got there and I said, "Oh, can I go and see the flame?" And she said, "Yeah, but you'll have to be quick because we turn it off at 5 o'clock every day. They turn it off at 5 o'clock."
Yeah.
I thought it was the eternal flame.
Did she take you straight there to see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. She said, "Close your eyes, give me your hand." I'm sorry, can't help myself. I don't care how shit this is. I'm not bothered. For me, that made me smile, and it's all about me. So you've done Olympic working and stuff like that.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
You have been in the Paralympics, haven't you?
Yeah.
Go on, drop it in. What's your spot? I tell you what, everybody now, if you're watching this, absorb Jack as a athlete and just pause and just guess what his sport is. What do you think it is? Give you 3 seconds. Finn, what do you think Jack's sport is? Archery. Jack said... Finn said smashing puss, for those of you that didn't hear that. Olympic,
also
Paralympics of smashing puss.
Different.
What's different?
Deformities, usually. Anyway.
There's got to be a ramp up to the vag. That's what it is. Go up, just jump in. You were saying archery. Archery's not right. So here's the thing. Here's the first thing that I wanted to add. It's table tennis, by the way.
It's not. It's gymnastics. It's Paralympic.
For a minute, the way that you said that, then I was like, "Whoa, what a dismount! What a dismount! He'll not feel that in the morning." Sorry. It's going to be one of those podcasts. I apologise. Trigger warning. With archery and stuff like that, right? There's some that I watch at the Paralympics, and I enjoy the Paralympics as much as, or maybe more than, the actual Olympics.
That's good. Yeah.
Because the thing is with the actual Olympics is I'm watching the Olympics and it's this 6'8" guy who's gonna jump over this fucking high jump or whatever, and it's like, yeah, he's fucking massive. He's absolutely huge.
Yeah.
Of course he's gonna do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, where's the fucking trepidation? Do you know what I mean? But then you watch it with like the Paralympics, and it's somebody who's like entire one side of their body just doesn't work. He's just made of jelly or whatever. And it's like, well, that guy's struggling to what? So how the fuck is he going to do that? And then they do some crazy technique or whatever, and it's like, the fuck? What the fuck just happened there? Yeah. So I like it more. And also as well, I think the events are more fun. I like, is it the rugby one, Murder Ball?
Yeah, it's mad, yeah.
Don't give a fuck, do they?
Have you seen the film, the documentary film? About
No.
Oh, it's one of the... I think it's called Murder Ball.
Yeah.
You gotta watch it. It's like...
You've got... Well, when your sport's called Murder Ball, you have to fucking buy into that title, don't you?
Imagine hearing of Murder Ball and going, that's the sport for me. I'm going to give that a go the first time.
That sounds good. Also, as well, Murder Ball.
Yeah.
It's a bit, do you know what I mean?
It's not called that in the Paralympics, though. You can't get away with that as a tagline for the Paralympics.
Can you?
Wheelchair rugby is what the actual...
Oh, right.
It's not just called Murder Ball. Like.
It does seem a little bit, though, like, I get what you're saying. It's like, as a child, it's like, right, okay, David, we know that you can't use your legs, but we are going to make sure that you play sports and you stay active. Now, we've got 2 different sports that you can play. You can either play Murder Ball or rape hockey. Which one would you prefer to play? It's very, like, sinister, isn't it? Murder Ball. But what I was going to say is with the archery one, right, I swear to God, I've watched archery before, and they go up, and it's just somebody, like, who just walks up and then just goes... like that, and then just hits a perfect bullseye, and they goes, oh, that was Jonathan fucking Smythe or whatever, who is deaf, and you're like, what? I'm sorry, deaf? What, has he got to hear the fucking target? What the fuck is deaf about? That's not like, there's some ones, aren't there, where it's like, you're disabled, but it's not really impeding you like it's impeding me.
I mean, classification's a big issue in Paralympics. So there is some sports that I look at people and go, you don't get the LA. Like if you don't get a blue badge, it's difficult in it to. But I spoke to a girl once who was a swimmer, and I said, she was visually impaired. She said, I've got tunnel vision. I was like, you swim in a straight line? Like, why do you need your vision? I was like, you can see the lane. Like, what?
Tunnel vision. Fuck off.
I've actually got webbed feet.
Yeah. Fuck, it's weird. My disability is I was actually born with gills. It's just really debilitating for me. Shut the fuck up. Yeah. Do you know what? I have seen somebody, though, on the opposite end of that. Yeah. I saw a table tennis guy. Yeah. You probably know the dude. He's the dude with no fucking arms.
Oh, yeah.
He sticks the fucking...
Egyptian guy, yeah.
He sticks the fucking bat in his mouth.
Yeah.
And you can... do you know what, as well? It's kind of... Because I was watching some of the stuff, and it is... like kind of funny watching him just like, but he does an incredible fucking job with what he's doing.
He's amazing.
But in my head, I'm like, why that sport?
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, how have you done that? Like, who's give you a bat to like forcefully put it in your mouth and gone, I forgot what this.
Yeah, my man, long jump. That's your fucking. That's your thing.
Or running. You've got 2 good legs. Just start running.
Just run. What the hell is wrong with you? Why table tennis?
Just to even play it the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, people must have been saying, "Don't just to even have a go."
Do you know what? I was watching some of his matches, and the thing is poor dude. I can't find a match of him on YouTube that's just a match.
He's never really won, that's the issue.
Well, this is it, right? Yeah. Because what made me laugh is that I liked watching, not him, I like watching his opponent. Because I like watching his opponent go, fucking got this. Might as well be a buy this. This is a piece of fucking... And this poor dude who's fucking practiced his entire life to hit the bat with his mouth like that, does it, and you can just see some dude with a gammy leg go, fuck off like that. Just smash it at the other side. This poor guy trying to get his mouth at the other side. It's impossible.
You should have a highlight reel of people trying to shake his hand at the end of matches as well, because it happens all the time.
Did you ever see? Sorry, there's a there's a thing of Piers Morgan meeting a disabled child. He's about fucking... She's about a 3-year-old girl or something like that. And she's got stumps for hands.
Or no hands, because we've got stumps.
No hands. True. Stumps for hands sounds like she's traded them off. You know, like Jack and the Beanstalk. Where
sounds like a shit metal band, Stumps for hands.
I took you to the market to get some 3 magic beans is what you bought for our cow, and you've got stumps for hands. I didn't mean it like that. What I meant is like...
Genie gave me 3 wishes. It was my first thought. I want stumps for hands.
She's got stumps instead of hands, right? And she's sort of clasping a piece of paper with a drawing on it to give to Piers Morgan. She gives one to, what's her face, the co-presenter, Susanna Clark, and then she gives one to Piers Morgan. And Piers Morgan, out of just reflex of politeness, says, "Oh, this is so lovely. Did you draw it yourself?" And there's just a moment where everyone goes, "Oh, shit." And you can see him go, "Fuck." And then they just move on really quickly.
Do you know the flip side of that? Is their mum drawing shit pictures looking like it's their daughters? Just like he's just trying to do like kids' photos.
Yeah.
You can't really do like a Picasso, can you? Yeah, she did
Speaking to the husband before. All right, Frank, what I want you to do is I want you to staple a felt tip to my elbow. Right, come on, there we go. Let's say our little Joanne's done that. There we go.
You know
Piers Morgan is our cunt. There we go.
You know the table tennis guy who's doing it in his mouth? Do you reckon he got to Paralympics because everyone he played was letting him win? Because like you don't if he's your brother or your mate, you don't want to take the piss, do you?
Yeah.
Is there regionals for the Paralympics?
Yeah, so the way the qualification works, you've got to be like top whatever it is in the world to qualify automatically, but then you've also got your regional winners, so Europeans, Africans, Americas, Oceanias all get their own spot. So there's no one in his classification that plays in Africa, basically. So he's just given a place in the Paralympics, more or less.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a bit controversial if you're a decent player who can't get to the Paralympics.
That must be, to be fair, that must be a little bit like when, like, in football, like when Italy don't make the World Cup, but Honduras are in one of the
that's
groups.
literally what it is.
And it's like,
playing.
I know we have to have representation of that, but I want to watch football.
Yeah, exactly. The most inspirational thing I've ever seen him do wasn't table tennis. It was light his own fag and he was smoking it.
Fuck off.
Swear to God, I was in Rio outside. He had the fag in his mouth. He had the lighter on the wall, and he's whacking it with the lighter off the wall till it sparked. Got his fag. And he's like, I was like, "How have you got into smoking?" People have got into the weirdest
genuinely
stuff.
fucking
He lit his own
amazing.
ciggy. I was like, "Fair play, lads. You've done well there."
Because he was one of those as well who because there's two sort of kinds of. I say there's two kinds of disabled people, but there sort of is in my head.
Yeah.
There's people who were born with it
Yeah.
who don't know any different,
Yeah.
and that's just the life that they've got, and they've had to work around that from birth. And then there's other people who were like, I was just walking the dog one day and then a train hit me and then now I'm like a head. Do you know what I mean?
That's how he lost his arms, got hit by a train.
It was, wasn't it?
I don't know how. I don't know how you lose your arms and not your head if you get hit by a train. That's what I can't. He doesn't speak English. Can't say, listen, lad, are you like, yeah? The train go around the bend and you just missed your head. Like, how have you got it? How have you just lost your arms?
He was practicing a Mexican wave on the floor. Whoa! And then the train just came and just took his arm. Ah, shit. That's so weird that his body was perfect.
He was in the middle of 2 train tracks.
Like one of them westerns, just like someone's
one went that way, one went that way.
He was waving them down. Do you know, like planes that land on aircraft hangars?
Yeah, this way, lads.
And they just both went off. Fucking hell almighty. Did they both go off at the same time?
I think so, yeah.
That's
be lucky to get it by 2 trains at different times.
Again!
Well, 2 years later, for fuck's sake.
Fool me once, shame on me.
Mum, you'll never believe what's happened. I've done it again.
How are you managing to call me, son? I'm just smashing my phone against the wall and I've got a fag in one mouth. Mum, I'm going to learn table tennis. You're fucking not, lad. You're fucking not. But yeah,
stop smoking.
Here's another thing that I want to ask as well, is, so I always thought as well that, so one of the famous athletes to come out of the Paralympics, Oscar Pistorius, right? Now, he
played murderball. Sorry, bad joke.
he had no legs, right?
Yeah.
So they built him them little fucking springs to attach to his legs. Cheating.
Yeah.
That's not surely right. So if you're somebody who's like, right, okay, I had a stroke and now I'm paralyzed in the left side of my body and I'm just running like this.
Yeah.
And this cunt comes along and he's like, I've got no legs, but a fucking team of scientists have built these for me, and I'm just going to smoke you.
It was because he went to the Olympics, didn't he? So he went racing the Olympics, a bit of controversy because everyone was like, "Oh, it's so inspirational him being the Olympics," and his able-bodied people are like, "Well, he's got springs in his feet.
He's
got
like
bionic legs."
But the thing is, though, is if he decided he wanted to do swimming, and then he was like, okay, I'm going to have these little propellers that I stick on my fucking stumps, and I'm just going to they're like petrol powered, and so they're going ready, and he's pushing, and you see them spinning, and he just fucking speedboats up and down.
Still inspirational.
Yeah. Oh my God, he's such an inspiration. Doesn't even move his arms, just keeps it either side like that. His arms just either side, like he's waiting for a train. It's like whatevs.
It's like on a mastermind with Google.
But you must
really is. Yeah.
Is it controversial, the use of prosthetics?
I mean, I'm not in athletics, so I don't really know the ins and outs of it, but I presume it probably is because I don't know the classifications how they work in athletics, but it seems to me that some people with 2 legs run against people with 1 leg.
Yeah.
And surely that's like uneven. Well, not even.
Oh, this is going to be it's going to be one of them, isn't it?
Sorry to UK Sport and all my funders because this is going to be a bad podcast.
But no, right. So look, if someone said to you, right, Jack, you in the fucking regionals for going to the next Olympics, Tokyo, is it? It was Tokyo happened.
Just been Tokyo.
You've just been Tokyo. That was the medal.
Literally just had all the medal. I said
literally
Tokyo on it.
all the medal beforehand. What a fucking idiot. So you just had Tokyo.
Yeah.
What's the next one?
Paris.
Yeah. 2024?
Yes.
So Paris 2024, right? And you're competing in the fucking regionals to try and get through.
Yeah.
And then there's this dude who's partially sighted, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, I can fucking
see him coming.
I'm feeling pretty fucking confident about this guy. Yeah. It's table tennis. It's a small ball. He's partially sighted.
Yeah.
He's come with a stick and a dog. I think I'm gonna fucking smash this.
Yeah.
And then he puts on a pair of fucking glasses.
That's true. Yeah.
That are made by fucking Google. And they show you the ball in hyper detail, and they show you the spin and the rotation of the ball, and the back spin and the top spin and shit. Then surely that's an advantage.
Yes, but it's not been invented, so I suppose it's not an advantage just yet.
Yeah, but if it did happen, you'd be pissed off.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm quite lucky because the way the classifications work, I'm in the highest classification for wheelchairs. So I'm the most able-bodied wheelchair players, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So everyone in my classification has more or less got the same movements and disability.
Okay.
If you're in a classification, basically 1 to 5 wheelchair classes. So class 1 is people that are paralysed from the chest down. You strap the baton to the hand, the lot. Whereas class 5 is me. Full trunk movements, can move a little bit, so I'm the
full trunk movement.
Yeah, your trunk, not like an elephant trunk.
Is that what they call it?
I have got full trunk movement, but that's
full
another story.
Full trunk
core movement.
I would rather test that. There's doping at the Olympics, whether or not they get a really fit bird in, and someone grabs your dick like that, and they go, actually partial trunk movement. That I felt a little twitch. You're going down a class, knobhead.
Do people ever try and go down a class to get an
advantage?
Advantage?
Absolutely.
You defo would, wouldn't you?
There's a lot, because nowadays in Paralympics, a lot of money riding on some of the classes in some of the countries. It's big, so if you get a different disability class, then you're buzzing, aren't you? So
it wasn't. In fact, I think it was 88 or 92, the Olympics, or the Paralympics, sorry, and the Spanish basketball team, they all pretended they were mentally ill. Or something.
So it was. It's not even a joke.
No.
So basically,
Then they came third, didn't they? They all cheated and they came third.
But so there was this.
Ironically, ended up depressed.
It was the Barcelona Paralympics, so they had learning disabilities in the Paralympics, and a group of journalists from Spain said they could go and get in the games as able-bodied people, won a bronze, and then exposed it all for because they were journalists. Just came out and were basically the ringer. That's basically what it was.
So they basically said, we've all got mental health.
Yeah, basically said, my IQ's below whatever it's meant to be.
Oh, right. So they pretended to be mentally...
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Disabled, yes.
Oh, right. I think you meant mental health then. I was like...
to be honest, I think that's how I heard it, but now I hear you say it, that makes more sense.
If you meant to help me bounce the ball, I can't be asked catching it.
I got a bit of anxiety, mate, innit? I've got OCD. Yeah, you've been practicing 14 hours a day, you daft cunt.
I only scoring even numbers.
Yeah. Holy shit. So they pretended to be I'm just really fucking
So then they banned learning disabilities in Paralympics for years, and they came back in London. So you had from 96 till 2012.
Shut up.
It got banned. There are only 5 sports has learning disabilities in now.
So only 5 sports has learning?
Yeah, I think it's table tennis, swimming, athletics, and there's 2 others.
Table tennis, swimming, athletics.
I couldn't tell you.
Okay. So how learning disabled do you have to be?
I think in table tennis you've got to have an IQ below 75, I think.
Right, okay.
So, and they do different tests of like eye movements and how you read the game and how you play, but I'm pretty sure if you're clever enough, you could fail the test. That's what I don't understand about it. Like, I'm not an expert, but if I was clever, I'd just go, I don't know the answer to that. And then you'd be But I mean, I don't know.
Okay, question 1. What's 1 plus 1? 705.
Yeah. Just headbutt the machine.
Yeah. What's 1 plus 1? Giraffe. Yeah. That's what I think. That's interesting, isn't it?
But then they have these Special Olympics, which is for the more severe learning disabilities. Do you know what is not the Paralympics?
Do you know what they should? Surely though, what they could do is they could like look into like so surely like because it would be quite easy to fake it if they just gave you a test.
Yeah.
But if they like on the sly I'll tell you what they should do: anonymous phone call, interview. And go, hi, I'm a recruiter. I've got your details here. We are considering you for a £250,000 a year job or whatever, like CEO of a company.
Chris Tarrant, who wants to be a millionaire.
And if they were like, yes, absolutely, I am a liar. Bullshit, you didn't know what 1 plus 1 was.
Paralympics, we don't want to give you that.
Exactly. Holy shit. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
That must be like, because you must, like, especially if you see that happening, you must have some people and you're like, I'm sussy about you.
Yeah, no, I can imagine there's probably, I mean, it's not my classification, but I presume there's probably quite a lot. I mean, there's a French guy that I know of, and he speaks quite good English. I'm thinking, if you're French and you speak fluent in a different language, maybe your IQ is not as low as it should, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but it must be quite prevalent in the sport.
Or maybe he thinks it's French. Just like, that's how he gets out of it. I thought I was speaking French, what can I say? Okay, sweet. I mean,
maybe just the exam was in the wrong language.
Could be, yeah.
That's why he failed it.
Walking around French, is that a breadstick? Baguette? What's baguette?
I think with yours, like table tennis is one of those, isn't it? That's like there's only like it's not as easy to fake and get an advantage, is it?
Yeah, no, it's one of them sports that like you get found out because basically if you're faking limited movements when the ball goes wide, your ego's going to get in front of you and you're going to try and hit the ball, aren't you? So
yeah.
You can tell whether you're faking it or not, more or less. Especially in wheelchair classes, you can tell if you've got like full core movements or not trunk movements, but like full movements and stuff. So it does happen. I mean, but yeah, it's not as prevalent as other sports. I think it's probably a hell of a lot worse for stuff like that.
So you're a bronze medal in that. Does that mean you're the best in the UK?
Yeah, I've not lost a match in Great Britain for 7 years.
What the fuck? Oh, mate, I really want to play. Yeah. I really want to play.
You'd be learning disability.
Fucking, mate, if I smashed it, I'd never. Do you know what, though? Is like, so here's the thing, right? Is in Olympics, there are certain events that are dominated by certain countries.
Yeah.
I went for races, and then I went for ethnicities, and then I went for countries. I went.
It was a good save. It's not.
Thank you, man. And obviously, like table tennis and shit is dominated by like Chinese.
Yes.
That's like the game, innit?
Yeah,
they fucking smash. So is that the same in Paralympics?
Yeah, so in Paralympics, the Asian countries are really strong, but Europe's one of the best regions in the world at the moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so most classes have got a really good Chinese in the top 5. We're able-bodied, the top 10's probably mostly Chinese. Well, whereas in each class, there's 1 or 2, so Europe's probably stronger as a whole.
Well, this is it. Players, like on the one hand, they are more into table tennis.
Yeah.
On the other hand, they are less into people with disabilities.
Yeah.
So it kind of narrows itself out.
It's weird. So like basically, China is obviously a massive country in national sports table tennis. So I've been over there, and you go in the park, and there's no football goals. There's table tennis tables. Like it's literally their national sport. But as you said, disabilities aren't great. So sometimes you just turn up and go, who's this bloke? And I've heard of him, and he just batters you. Like, 3-0. You're like, you've been training for like 15 years and no one's ever seen you. Like, why are you just turning up? But like, yeah, they just churn out these players sometimes you don't really see for ages. Like, it's mad.
Oh, fucking hell, mate.
It's mad China. Like, they're so big on the Olympics, but like football and stuff, like, No Chinese footballers.
There was a
2 billion people.
There was a thing because of Beijing.
Sun Ji Hai.
Yeah,
Chinese?
Park Ji-sung, he was Korean.
He was Korean.
Park Ji-sung was Korean.
Oh, yeah,
You get quite a lot of Koreans, don't you? But no, how many Chinese players?
Yeah, well,
Yeah. We're around that region, aren't we? It's fine.
Similar flavours in food.
Shinji Kagawa, fuck it. Do you know what I mean? No, I'm pretty sure Sun Ji Hai was Chinese.
There's a story about a Chinese bloke, and it was rumours that
was Dong Fangzhou.
Yeah, Dong was.
He played for United for about 10 minutes.
He got in because he went on it was like a trip. He was just like on a trip, and he won a race against all the players, and that's why they signed him up, because he was like rapid. And
I reckon there was another reason as well.
Yeah.
Involved selling shirts to the very children that make them.
There's a story in there. It went round table tennis. The 2008 Paralympics in Beijing. There was a guy that was a really good able-bodied player, and the state had like cut his hand off to play in the Paralympics, and he got banned.
I
don't know whether this is true, but this is what went round table tennis, and I wasn't around when it happened.
Defo.
But apparently, like, he was a really good regional player in China, and he basically said, "There's a few bob in the house. Can we get rid of your left hand?" And he's gone, "Yeah, sound." And
he's a few bob in a house.
Again, if you cut off, say if he was right-handed, and they cut off his left hand,
that's
not going to be like.
Well, there's
a big disadvantage in table
there's 1 to 5 wheelchairs, and then 6 to 10 standing. So class 6 is people on 2 crutches, people who have no hands at all. Class 10 is missing a few fingers or a muscle in your leg, or very minimal disability. So if you're missing a hand, you're
missing a muscle in your leg.
There's a few that because there's some top class 10s that play able-bodied like internationally.
Yeah,
which is great, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's fantastic." But to me, you're like, "Well, that's not really disabled." If you're, that's the reason why the Paralympics are there, isn't it? Because you can't be able-bodied too well. But I mean, you do have disabilities. And
do you know what? I had a joke about the Paralympics that I could never get to work, and I'm going to tell you what it is, and you're going to immediately see why. Right. I think that if you are a Paralympian, you should not be allowed to have a blue badge. Based on the idea that, like, if you can fucking, like, you can do a marathon in a wheelchair, but you're telling me that you have to park right at the front of Tesco? Shut the fuck up, mate. What? I'm sorry. You can lift 200 kilos, but you can't take your shopping an extra 25 yards. Bit suspect. Sounds like someone's picking and choosing. You know what I mean? But
absolutely, yeah.
That never seemed to work. Yeah. Who knows why that didn't work?
I had a conversation with one of my mates because he's missing a leg and an arm, like on the same side, and he gets a blue badge, and I was like, "You need less space to get out of the car. Like, you've got less body to get out of the car. You don't need the extra
just
space.
Fold it in yourself.
Open the door halfway and slide out. You know, you can perfect.
So I've got a mate who's deaf in one ear. That qualifies as a parking badge, and it's like, mate, you can't hear traffic from one side. That's not
get out the other side.
My other mate, who's a comedian, who was originally down to do this, Rob Mulholland. He has ADHD, and they said that you can have a parking badge for that. Absolutely not,
because you might forget what shop you're going to by the time you get to the door.
Mate, it's just right. If you were like somebody who had full-on disability, no movement, every day was really hard for you, and you needed to park at the front, and then some dude was like, I'd lose focus sometimes. You'd be like, fuck off. Fuck right off. Mate, I have to have a person that, like, clears stuff out my mouth. That's how bad I am. I get out once a fucking month. I need to be there. You're like, just sometimes I forget stuff. Fuck off.
You know the hand thing? He chopped off his hand. How much would the government have to pay you? Well, chop your hand off.
Left hand. Yeah. Left hand, because they wanted.
Let's go. But how much for your left and how much for your right?
Wow.
Because they're different. Like
and you're in China and your family's dead poor and you got no money. So like, where are you going down that road?
Okay. I mean, I'm in England and I'm dead poor. And I've got no money. Don't need to travel halfway across the world for that. Left hand. How much would I lose my left hand for? Right. Okay. Defo. Okay. So I'm going to work out what it would definitely be, and then I'm going to go down. So it would definitely be 5 million.
Right.
Defo 3 million. 1 million seems about right.
1
Yeah, for one hand, you could do a lot with one hand.
For your weak hand, for your left
hand.
hand.
Weak hand,
Yeah, for my weak hand, £1 million.
But for your strong hand.
That is tough.
Yeah.
Do I get, right, so if I lose my hand, how far up on the NHS waiting list am I for them fucking bionic fingers?
Oh, you're right at the bottom.
Oh,
I've only just done it. It's day one.
You've got $1 million and get private healthcare being next week.
What's the way? Yeah, but then you're spending half of it. You're spending half of it on your fucking...
Put your price up.
And then when tax kicks in at 40%, you come away with fucking 30 grand a year. Might as well get a job.
And you can't even hold your blue badge. You got
Right. How long? Do you know how long it is for prosthetics and stuff? How long's the wait?
No, I've got all my limbs. I don't really know.
All right. Thought it might have popped up in conversation.
No, it's not something we don't just all discuss disabilities all the time, you know. Like having a fat man talking about food all the time.
Comedians just talk about comedy all the time. So I just assumed that when you popped in, like when there was like a meeting or something, you were like, oh God,
still disabled. Carry on. Next
meeting. Right. So I would say, because here's the thing, right, is prosthetic limbs have fucking come on.
Yeah.
Right? I remember back when I were a lad, I remember that a prosthetic limb was literally, they snap it off a mannequin in like a shop window and they just solder it onto your arm.
That's why Boston's closed down, they had no mannequins.
That's why mannequins don't have any arms.
Is that also true for heads? Is someone walking around with one of them heads?
Because what they do is they snap the forearms off mannequins in shops and they get some sticky back sticky, double-sided sticky tape and some fucking fucker that did Blue Peter and just stick it on you like that. And then they go, that's you for the rest of your life now. And you go, nice one. But now they are like fucking literal... robot hands. They're like, you look, and they've got fucking more movement than I have in my feet. They're like, you know what I mean? They've got all these fucking, and there'd be some fucking women that are turned on by being fingered by a robot. Defo. You get a little vibrate function on your fucking thumb, push that over the clitty, like that.
Drill mode. Again, that's going to be an advantage for some Paralympic sports, right? If you can have like a gun as a hand, and you'd be ace at rifle shooting.
Like they do that. Right, okay. So left hand, you've got knife, fork, spoon on your thumb. You've got a little corkscrew here for wine and special occasions.
That's under the Swiss team.
You got 12 little knives on your pinky and a little magnifying glass so you can see things. And then on your right hand, a fucking gun. Yeah. That's the American team. Fucking hell.
It's only the same as the Oscar Pistorius thing, isn't it? It's designed for running. It's designed for rifle shooting.
I would defo 100% if I did have one of those robotic hands and you could choose what was on your fingers. 100% a lighter would be one of them. How fucking... what a touch that would be if someone was like, in smoker, you got a light, and you just flipped, your little pinky was like a Zippo, and you just flipped it open and just did it against a wall and was like, there you go, mate. And they had a little puff on your pinky.
You know what would be shit, though, is that when you get to that after pie and no one's got a lighter, you're going to be getting mithered all night. Come on, Penny, give us that light. Fuck's sake.
But you can leave the hand wherever you want then, so you have the lighter, can't you?
Well, he can take it off, yeah. But then someone's nicking that lighter, though, aren't they?
When you come in the morning with a traffic cone in a hand, you're like...
What would you... So what would you have, right, legitimately? So if you had, prosthetic... and each one of your fingers could have a different thing, like the Swiss Army,
right?
Like the lighter thing. What other things would you look at? Because here's what I would quite like to have, right? And I think this would come in dead handy. Would be like, no, listen to this, right? Refillable aftershave.
Nice.
In one of them.
Yeah, like them little
so
tester
you could
ones
just...
You've got a job in a toilet straight away, haven't you?
All the other fingers dispensing lollipops. No spray, no light. No Armani, no Punani.
No arm, no charm.
No finger, no minger.
No splash, no gash. I came third in the Paralympics for table tennis, you cunts. Fucking hell almighty. Oh, God, help me. Shit, mate.
Yeah, that's the way.
So, with... here's another thing. With the Olympics, from what I've been told, and notoriously so, apparently, the Olympics are just shag fests.
Yeah.
So, it's like... I mean, I remember Tokyo... They tried to make anti-shag beds, didn't they?
It was bollocks, but yeah. It's just a thing that was on Lab Bible.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Because apparently there was like 5 Mexican fucking wrestlers that were jumping on one.
Yeah, so basically in Tokyo the beds were cardboard. And it was to do with like recycling and stuff. But like the beds we stayed in were the ones the Olympics stayed in. So if anyone's shagging the Olympics, they're not having a bed in the Paralympics either on the floor. Fucking hell, I was in the orgy room, just stuck on the floor. But yeah, the beds were just cardboard. But
so my question is going to be: is it the same with the Paralympics?
Yeah.
You get Didn't even finish the sentence. Didn't even finish the sentence.
Well, I went to Rio as a single man, and I was in Tokyo. I've had a missus 4 years, so I didn't. Oh, well, to be fair, it was COVID, so I wasn't.
Is she a Paralympian as well?
No. Why does everyone ask if my girlfriend's disabled? Like,
no. It's because you said I went to Rio and I've had a missus for 4 years.
Yeah, but not like in the Paralympics.
But I thought as well in the context of
no.
thing,
I can see you've gone there.
I didn't think that you all
everyone
together.
When I say to you, have you got a girlfriend? You go, yeah. Is she in a wheelchair? No. Like, what? No.
Fucking
literally
hell.
the first thing anyone asks me, like, oh, is your girlfriend in a wheelchair? No.
So you've had a missus for 4 years.
Yes.
So you've not, but there is a lot of shagging about.
In Rio, I was single, and so basically at the end of the Paralympics with no COVID, there's a party with the whole village. They put like drink stations of free beers all around the village, and you can go in anyone's block in any country, and you speak to, and
you can go in anyone's.
So basically, it is like a village. So the Paralympic and Olympic village is a village, got its own postcode. There's apartment blocks that get sold off, and people live in them for the next.
So hang about a minute. So you've all got your own little. So it's like a fucking giant centre parks.
More or less, yeah. So like we had a GB tower block, and all the GB athletes are staying in this big tower block. So in my room was 6 people in our apartments that were part of the table tennis team, but we've all got like bedroom, we share rooms, but then other countries have got that all around the village.
So you know that's the GB.
Oh, they've all got flags on, yeah.
Apartment block.
Yeah, all the Australians got kangaroos outside.
I'll tell you what though, it must be so funny when the walls, if you like, the metaphorical walls that divide you go down, and everyone just fucking makes a beeline for Sweden. Do you know what I mean? And there's the poor fucking women in the Togo fucking tent, or the Samoan ones that are built like fucking
trying to find dildo fingers in the hands.
The Eskimo fucking igloo. Fucking, because no one's. If you've got a choice between shagging a Swedish supermodel and an Inuit, there's nobody going, I fancy some fucking ice puss. This is shit,
yeah,
man.
It's a big party.
Are you all on Tinder just fucking swiping away?
So I was on Tinder in the village in Rio, and I did match a few Paralympians there.
Did you?
Yeah, that's...
When you say match?
That's as far as I'm going to say. Just going to say I matched a few Paralympians from different countries.
Really?
Yeah.
Is
not
there
my finest moments, I'll give you that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you are a bronze medal.
Oh yeah, but you've got like so you get like 10 out of 10s, but then you've got to add the disability, which takes a few points off, doesn't it? So like, I on my feet, I'd probably be like a 6 out of 10 in a chair, and probably a 4 out of 10 in general. So if you get like a really fit disabled person, you're lowering the standard, aren't you? So you can get like.
Oh right!
This is live.
I didn't know that was how. I didn't know that was how it worked.
No, that's how my head works. That's not how it works in general.
Okay.
That's not a rule.
So if you've seen a really fit supermodel,
it's like a law.
Yeah, I was gonna say Tinder's like
you're a 10.
Blue badge Tinder.
You're a 10, but when you compete, you're a class 5, and so we do like a weird equation on the wall, and that works out exactly where you're at. Oh fucking hell, man!
I didn't actually get with anyone in the village.
Did you not?
No, but I was like, you're on Tinder, people around there, like different sports.
There must be fucking loads of smashing.
Oh, there's definitely loads of stuff that goes on, like, but it's not a mad orgy like people say it is, but there is quite a lot that goes on.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
So how long have you been playing table tennis for?
16 years now, and I've been professional 8 years.
Did you start and you were like, I want to be a Paralympian? Or were you just
basically, yeah. So I was born in Anfield, Liverpool, moved around Liverpool. We moved to Widnes when I was 10 because we got bailed in Bootle. So the burglars used my wheelchair to get the stuff out. So like
you got burgled. Wait. You got burgled in Bootle and they used your wheelchair.
So basically, I was
like
on
a trolley.
Yeah, basically what they did. You're laughing, but that's what happened.
Fucking.
So basically,
hell,
Did they nick your wheelchair as well?
No, so I was upstairs on the stair lift. So we had a stair lift and I was upstairs. We had a bit of commotion, me and brother, and I was like, "What's that downstairs?" Went down. And he like robbed the whole house and used my chair to get all the stuff out.
That's, I mean, apart from the fact it's evil, it's genius.
Oh, it's absolutely genius. Yeah,
it is genius.
I admire the balls on that. How are we going to get all this stuff out?
It's resourceful as fuck, isn't it? It's resourceful as fuck. So you moved to Widnes.
Then we went to like a youth club that was for like disabled and deprived kids. We used to get like an evening meal, meet other disabled kids, a lot like that. And they had a table tennis table, and I was born with cerebral palsy, so I can move my legs a little bit, I can stand a little bit, I just can't walk. But at the time, I didn't know and I was any different than the kids, so I wanted to be next Steven Gerrard, anything like that. Play table tennis, but standing up, but like holding the table, and sit down in between points and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then London won a bid for 2012 I heard it on the radio, and then I wanted to be a Paralympian. Went to my local club, and then history,
It's an interesting one, cerebral palsy, isn't it? Because I know like there's loads of comics that have cerebral palsy, and it affects totally differently. So there's some people like yourself who you said you've got like full core movement or whatever you called it, and then the legs are just like a write-off. But then there's other people that I know that have got it whose legs and arms are fucked, but then they can speak fine.
Yeah, it's mad. Yeah, I think with CP, it's like the most common disability in the world, but you never get two people with exactly the same disability. Like it's weird.
It's very much the fucking individual snowflake of disabilities. Because there's other people that are like they've got fairly decent. Like I used to know this dude who had fairly decent motor skills, I guess you'd call it. Like he could walk about and stuff. He had fairly decent movement. He looked like he was pissed, which was like a common fucking thing with. But he would slur his speech loads because of his disability. So people just always thought he was pissed.
Yeah, I've been on nights out with people with CP and they've been like refused out of bars and stuff because they just look drunk. Like they're wobbling about and can't speak very well. He's like, get out, that's too many.
What cause is it like, is it motor neuron?
It's a birth defect basically. So it's the lack of oxygen at birth. So, so I think my story was a mum got given tablets she was allergic to, passed out and I lost oxygen and stuff. But say like a few more minutes of brain damage, I'd be like Stephen Hawkins. I'd be like
clever.
Minted with a Bosch wheelchair. Not dead. But so a few more minutes I would have been different, or less minutes I'd maybe have a different disability, I don't know. But
do you know what? I read a thing about a Paralympian once who's called Tatiana McFadden.
Oh, do you know wheelchair racer. Yeah.
Mate, have you heard of Tatiana McFadden? So she was born in a Russian orphanage, right? And like again, the Russian attitude to like Russian orphanage disabled child. Do you know what I mean? You ain't top of the list when fucking when Oliver Warbooks comes in and decides whether or not he wants to adopt somebody.
You have a yellow sticker on your head waiting for someone to come in like the reduced style.
Fucking hell, reduced to clear.
Half price kid.
Look what I got from the shop. Look what I got from the shop, darling. I got small defective child and chicken that goes out of date tomorrow.
It's one for the middle aisle in Aldi.
But she had to. There was no orphanage there was no orphanage. There was no like disabled access and shit in this fucking crappy Russian orphanage. So she had to get about by using her fucking hands and stuff until she was like 5 years old. She just fucking like.
Crawled.
Crawled her way around and sort of propelled her, but made her strong as fuck, right? Yeah. So eventually she got adopted by this American couple, moved over to America. They got her a wheelchair, but obviously because she spent 5 years fucking crawling about, it's just one push of the wheelchair and she's like fucking in a different state. Do you know what I mean? She just disappeared. She's won a medal at every single fucking length.
Like distance.
From like 100 meters to marathon.
Yeah, it's crazy.
She's done every single one.
Yeah.
Just fucking absolutely.
She's so lucky.
Yeah.
What an advantage she had when she was born. What an advantage.
Well, I mean, because I read that and I was like, I've never felt more guilty for having legs I don't use. Do you know what I mean? Because she's fucking killing it. And there's some days I reckon I do 100 steps.
If you feel guilty, I had the opportunity to walk around in my hands and I didn't. So I literally was in that position.
Are there like in Paralympics, are there like the superstars of like, we're like, shit, it's fucking...
Yeah, to be fair, you do go around, you're like, oh, there's... well, it was Oscar Pistorius, but he's not there anymore. But I've seen like Tatiana Fagnan going around and you're like...
Have you?
Yeah, and I've met like Ellie Simmons a few times. She's really nice. And like the GB
Ellie Simmons is the swimmer, isn't she?
Yeah. So like Johnny Peacock and Hannah Cockcroft and people like that, and GB squad I know fairly well because I'm in the round. But yeah, people walking around a village, because there's them countries that we talk about that don't compete for medals all the time. The Paralympics is full of countries that represent loads of places, like bloody San Marino or whatever. Yeah. So they're going around as well and seeing their idols, and that's the other avenue for people to see people. It's amazing, really.
It's the Ellie Simmons one. You know Ellie Simmons?
Yeah.
She's a swimmer, isn't she? So she's got dwarfism.
Yeah.
Now, I used to... This is going to shock you guys right now. I used to swim... okay. No buoyancy in it. I used to swim to an okay start. I used to swim at like a county level. So it's not like it wasn't like Never Britain or anything like that. But I was quick enough. Yeah. And I think that also as well, because I'm shockingly unfit, people are always surprised at how well I can swim because your technique is so good that I expend so little energy that I could just do it all fucking day. And this is a man who's out of breath when walking regularly. But she's bested my best ever fucking PB time. Now, I was only like 14 at the time or whatever. Yeah. But I was still like double the, maybe even. I mean, I don't know how tall she is, but she's less than maybe 3 foot.
Yeah, she's smaller than me sitting down. Probably she's probably she's probably about the same. Shoulder,
so she's about tiny. 3 foot tall. Yeah. I'd be like twice as tall as her at 14, 15. She's still quicker. I don't know how that's even possible. Yeah. I don't know how that's
just train every day though. She's really good.
It's a full-time job.
But there has to come a point where we're like physical physics. I mean, at the end of the day, if I trained at basketball every day, I would never be as good as somebody who's just 6'7". I'd just never be as good.
That's the Paralympians for me that I like, the really, really good ones. The ones I've got unbelievable times, and no matter what sport you do, no matter disability.
Yeah.
Like, it's
incredible. She's fucking, like, because again, like there's a point, isn't there, when you talk about stuff like this, that you don't want to come at it from like a place of arrogance. You don't, because like as an able-bodied person, you don't want to be like, they're better than me. Do you know what I mean? This person that trains every day is better than me. But when you look at somebody who's literally half your size, and their limbs are half your size, and their hands and feet are smaller, and all the things that you do to propel yourself in the water, and they are still faster than you by a considerable distance. It's like,
put it into perspective.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, it's massively more impressive.
Yeah,
I think watching the Paralympics than the Olympics.
Where
would you be in like if you competed against the able-bodied table tennis people?
I was about to say this. So obviously I'm
the able tennis.
Full-time comedian, everyone. Full-time comedian.
Do you know what? I'm really happy with it. I didn't think anything could beat my Atomic Kitten joke, but I'm fucking so happy with able tennis. Go on. Where would you be then?
So because I'm one of the best players in the country, wheelchair-wise, I struggle to find opponents and people to train in the country. So I train a lot of the able-bodied junior England players.
You struggle to find?
Well, because I'm the best player in the country by a little bit, then it's difficult for me to train against people, isn't it? So
really?
Yeah, because who am I going to train against?
Oh, is it because people... Sorry, I thought it was people don't want to train against you.
Well, no, I don't want to train against them.
So because they're shit, and then it's pointless.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're shit, but like my level's higher than what's in the...
You won't learn anything from
exactly.
You're not being challenged if you're just fighting somebody.
So what I do is I get able-bodied players to come in. So I play a lot with the junior England team. So a lot of the under 18s will come in and train with me, or... I've had able-bodied England players come down and sit in wheelchairs and play with me, and my coaches are ex-able-bodied England players that sit down in wheelchairs regularly and play with me. So I can play to a good standard able-bodied. Obviously, it gets to a stage where they can just run about, but technique-wise and skill-wise, I can be definitely up there.
But that's what they'd like clearly like do, surely.
For sure.
So if it's like, I mean, I guess that like. Again, I don't know loads about table tennis and that, but like I know that I imagine spin on the ball is like a huge fucking thing in controlling that and shit. Now, they ain't going to be able to go toe to toe with you because that's probably going to be your strength.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to just move you around the table and just hope you get tired.
Well, because the able-bodied players, they come back from the table, and whereas the wheelchair players don't. So I'm hitting the ball faster than what they usually hit the ball at. So if I was good, I can expose the angles with them because I'm hitting the ball so much earlier than what they would hit the ball.
I've just had a question. Right, I can't believe I haven't thought about this until right now. How do you deal with drop shots?
I just lean forward.
Oh right, okay. Can you like because the table tennis is fucking huge.
Yeah, it's about 2 foot. I think the whole tip. But the way the spin is, I can stop you from doing that to me basically.
Oh,
so it's basically high-speed chess. What I do counteracts what you do, and what you do counteracts what I do.
Yeah. So you can't just do a little...
you can't just say... Like, you can serve short, and I can reach it. I can touch the net nearly.
Can you?
I'm only about 6 inches away from the net.
I can't get anywhere fucking near.
Yeah.
But, what, from a table tennis net?
Yeah.
If you leaned over, you'd have a good go.
Yeah, but you've got to lean right over then, haven't you? It's a fucking pain in the arse.
It's a
that's
pain
my
in the
job.
arse. I'm not doing that. Fucking have the point.
What? Leaning slightly? Not a chance. Not on my watch.
Physical exertion. In sport.
What am I, an athlete?
Changing my angle? Never catch me doing that. I just thought that was like... So how do you stop them from fucking...
So I can play the ball long with loads of top spin. You won't be able to play the ball short. But if you play the ball short, I can reach in and play the ball wider to you, or like there's different ways to do it. So I can reach really short because my disability, I've got full core movements I can get in. Whereas the shorter game comes in when you've got more disabled players. So they play a shot called the tetra lob, which is basically a heavy backspin that comes back over the net.
Yeah.
So you throw the ball up in the air, lands short, and comes back over your side, so they can't reach you.
Oh, cheeky fuckers!
Yeah. But because I play with my chair with no brakes on, and I can move my chair really well, I can just shoot around the table and hit the ball past them.
Fucking tetra lob, you man, you pricks! Holy shit!
That's a big part of the game. If you're in like class 1 and 2, is like high backspin shots that you can't reach.
So really, you could if you're at a certain level, you could master that fucking shot.
Yeah, a lot of players do like just do that. Yeah, but they can stop you doing it. If you're playing against a good player, they can stop you doing that.
Is there any other like examples of that in Paralympics where it's like they just game an advantage and it's just like fuck, you can't do anything?
I don't know. One of the people in our squad, Megan, she used to swim before she played table tennis, and she was put in the wrong classification, so she was put in Ellie Simmons' class, but she's paralysed. Basically, she used to get plopped in the pool, and Ellie just like a 10-meter jump, and she was like, "Well, I can't compete with this guy because I'm starting from nothing." So it does happen. Like there's things that does happen in that sort of way. But yeah.
Because it must be there must be so much unfairness.
Yeah, I mean, classification it's getting a big overhaul. There's big controversy about it in every class. I think table tennis is a good sport for classification because we've got so many. We've got 11 classes. Yeah. So we've got quite good increments. But when you go into some sports, they've got like 2 or 3 classes.
It's when as well they start deciding what is equal.
Yeah.
And so it's it's quite easy if you're in a wheelchair. Yeah, it's quite easy to go, right, well, that person's in a wheelchair. Yeah. That person's in a wheelchair. That'll do. Yeah. And like that person's in a wheelchair but isn't using their arms either. That person, that'll do. Yeah. But then when it's like, okay, well, that person's got dwarfism. Yeah. And then this person's got Down syndrome. And so that may... I'm trying to work out what possible sport where those two things would be equal. You know? It's just not fair. How am I supposed to be a sumo wrestler with this? But there must be... Sorry, this is going to sound awful, but I'm going to say it. Like, there must be certain sports where it's an advantage... So, for example, with Down syndrome, you have strength. You're incredibly strong. So sumo would be an advantage, wouldn't it?
It would be if sumo was in the Olympics or the Paralympics.
Was it not in the Olympics?
I think it was in the recent Olympics.
might be
The
the
first
recent one,
time, 'cause it was in Tokyo.
Yeah,
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 Oh yeah, they must have fucking just.
yeah.
slid it
We'll
in.
do the Olympics,
Yeah.
but we're having fucking.
But there's
sumo
not like
time.
there's not like,
Geisha. That's what we want. That's what we want. Geisha games.
there's not Paralympic sumo. That's like robot wars, just like whacking into each other. Got an arena, these wheelchairs going at each other.
I would pay to watch that so much.
Craig Charles on the mic.
One of them's got a flamethrower.
It's not even a flamethrower. It's a prosthetic hand, a lighter, and a deodorant can.
Like a flipper on the
Here comes the
side.
Swiss team. You got nail clippers on the
Sprayed his aftershave on one hand with the fucking lighter on the other. Psst, fuck off.
Yeah.
Oh shit! But yeah, there must be some stuff like that where it's not necessarily an advantage or anything, but it's like
Yeah, like this, some disabilities do suit at like different sports. Like there's a guy who plays at Iran in sitting volleyball, but he's got giantism. He's like,
fuck off.
he's the second tallest bloke in the world.
He might as
like
well be
8 foot.
He might as well be doping.
Well, literally, I've seen videos of him, and he's the net's up here on his chest, and he just goes. Bang,
I've
like,
seen that as well. I've seen it.
But he goes around the village, and he's like 8'6" or something ridiculous.
Yeah,
He's got a
yeah,
head
yeah.
like Easter Island. Do you want to? Like, honestly, he's. I looked at him and was like, oh my god, you're massive.
Yeah,
There is a big argument in the Olympics that you should just allow drugs.
Yeah.
Because to get these like amazing
Yeah.
sports and stuff that could like growth hormones that'd make people super tall and stuff or make you really fast. What do you reckon? Do you reckon you should have?
I think that
Wouldn't taking drugs make you more disabled, depending on what drugs you took?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't mean like LSD.
well, this is it. I don't think you should be allowed to take steroids. I don't think you should be allowed to take performance enhancing drugs.
Yeah.
But I think you should absolutely be allowed to take performance de-enhancing drugs.
Yeah,
yeah.
So
on peril.
if you want to get fucking stoned as fuck,
Yeah.
and then do the 200-meter fucking
not, yeah.
hurdles, you're more than welcome to. You're more than welcome to try and fucking hurdle high. That's on you. If you want to fucking take that risk, you get ganged up, my
It's a new
friend.
mini to the high jump, isn't it? I suppose.
Is there like, because there's loads of doping scandals in the Olympics. Is that the same for the Paralympics as well?
Yeah, I mean, Russia got banned from the last in Rio for the Paralympics for the same sort of scandals that they were doing in the Olympics. It
Really?
comes down to- yeah, it was a big national
Mother
crisis. So yeah, there was a big.
fuckers.
I mean, in table tennis, it doesn't really happen because we don't have so much advantage gained from.
There's not much you can.
So-
What, Adderall?
Like beta blockers and stuff are probably ones you could take, but yeah, there's not so much of an advantage you can.
It's not gonna make that much of a
Yeah,
difference.
the
though,
stuff
is
with the
it?
equipment you could probably tamper with more than it would be drugs.
Oh, what,
So,
like
with the bats and stuff that you can
sand one bit down and
like speed glue. So basically, you get the piece of wood, which is what we call a blade, and you get the rubbers, which you stick, and there's millions of rubbers that you pick your
those
preference on
rubbers.
stuff.
You know those rubbers
Yeah.
on table tennis.
Yeah.
And my knowledge of table tennis bats is that there's that red side.
Yeah.
And then there's that slightly rougher black side.
Yeah,
Or it might be the other way around.
yeah.
Why?
So you've picked up a bat from Pound Shop. So then,
I have indeed. I have indeed.
so basically, most players will play with a smooth both sides, and
Yeah.
it's like like reverse rubbers we call them, so that they got a sponge on, and that makes the ball faster, slower. There's as I say, there's hundreds of rubbers of how you play. Then we have ones called pimples, which are like basically long pimples, reverses the spin that I've put on.
Yeah.
So if I play backspin to you, it's going to come back topspin because the ball doesn't have friction on the rubber.
Okay.
And then you have short pimples, there's less effect and stuff like that. So there's like hundreds of different varieties of rubbers you can have and different types, and different players play with different styles. And
So do you sometimes like? So you got your bats. So I'm guessing you got
Yeah.
more than one bat.
yeah, no, I just play at one. Everyone just plays at one style of racket basically. That's your specialty and what you do.
Could you not then like look at like let's say you're playing your big rival,
Yeah,
fucking, it's China, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
So like, fucking Ho Chi
Close. Yeah.
something or other. I don't know.
Cow Ning is the one I play against.
Cow Ning.
Yeah, there you go.
Cow Ning, right? You're playing against Cow Ning.
Yeah.
Right. And they've got their bat, and their bat is made in a certain way.
Yeah.
Where it's like a fucking spongy side and a this
Yeah,
side
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever. Could you not then go, I can? Should I not play with a bat that counteracts their bat?
You do
Like,
that
rather
with
than-
your playing style rather than what you do with the bat. So
Ah,
I know
right,
how
okay.
to play them rubbers, and he knows. So he's an expert in what he does. I'm an expert in what I do, and I know how to contact him, and he knows how to contact me. So it's just styles of play, basically.
Yeah. Who's the best in the world at the moment? Counting them.
Counting in my classification. To be fair, a German guy, Baus, who beat me in the semi-finals, he went on to win the gold. So
did he?
Yeah, Germany's strong. The guy from Norway, Tommy, who I beat for the bronze, has won everything in the sport that he can win. So like,
I bet you were fucking shitting yourself.
Oh, mate. So I went into Rio. I went to Tokyo. I was number 7th seed. So I wasn't down for a medal. But in the lockdown, I'd just been training my arse off, basically. But it was a bit like going to the bake-off with a cake you've made, but you don't know what anyone else's cake tastes like. So you could have like the best cake in the world. You could have like a soggy bottom. Like you have absolutely no idea what. So I went in, but I had the world number 2 in my group. Battered him 3-0. And I was like, I've just beat the world number 2 3-0,
yeah.
So I go through to the quarterfinals and there's 2 bronze medals. So I've gone through the rounds and I get to the quarterfinals. Get to play this guy called Tommy because he'd had a shock loss in the group. So I went through as a seed and he didn't. Right. So then I thought I'd get a good match for a medal and I managed to get the one that was nailed on for the gold, more or less. Like he was up there to win it. But me and Tommy are really good friends. Tommy's the guy that I idolised growing up. I watched him on YouTube. I got his autograph first time I met him. Like he's the boy.
Oh really? What's his name?
Tommy Urhag from Norway. So
Urhag. How do you spell that? I'm just gonna look at him.
Urag, I think. I just call him. Just put Tommy Norway wheelchair table tennis or something.
Tommy Norway. Yeah. Tommy Norway wheelchair.
He's quite famous in Norway. Like I've been to Norway to train him loads, and he gets stopped in the street, and also it's like he's quite famous.
Excuse me, are you Tommy Norway wheelchair tennis? Yes, but just call me Tommy Ergen, whatever.
His name's like Urhag or something like that. But I can't say it because I'm not Norwegian.
Tommy Urhag.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking nailed that pronunciation, didn't I? Oh, there he is.
He's the boy, yeah.
Fucking hell.
He's a good looking fella as well. Fair play to him, like.
Tommy Urhag needs to be told about fucking blonde tips. It's not 2008 anymore, T-Ergs.
Ironically, that photo is 2008.
Is it? Fucking love it. Holy shit.
But yeah, so I played him, and he's like one of my best friends, but he's the GOAT of wheelchair table tennis. So I beat him 12-10, 3-2. And I think we've played something like 50 odd times. I've beaten 3 times, and one of them was at the Paralympics. So it was like, the best moments of my career doing that. Was just mad.
And you lost in the semi-final, right?
Yeah.
How quick after was the bronze medal game? Like,
so
how'd you get? Like obviously, it was disappointing.
Yeah.
How'd you get back up?
It was sort of like the opposite way around. So in table tennis, you get 2 bronze medals. If you win the quarterfinal, you're in the semi-final, you're guaranteed a bronze. Okay. So there's no bronze playoff. If you lose the semi-final, you've got the bronze. So the quarterfinal is the big medal match, the one that I played Tommy in, because you're guaranteed a medal. So it was the day after that I struck. So I'd just beat the world number 2 and 3 in a while to get a medal, and then I've got to play again the day after.
Yeah.
And I had a nightmare getting to be semi-finals because in Japan the bus timetable for the venue was every 15 minutes, but Japanese logic was that the less players there is in the competition, the less buses they need, which in theory didn't work. So it turned from every 15 minutes to every hour and a half. I didn't know the day of my semi-final.
Oh, shit.
So I turned up and I said, when's the next bus? And he was like, in an hour and a half. And I was like, well, I'm playing an hour and a half. Like, I need to be there. So I rang up the BPA, like the British Paralympic Association. They got me a car. They got lost on the motorway. So I was late for the match. So I was literally in my undies on a Japanese motorway getting changed for a match. I'd not warmed up a lot, just turned up and played. But it was a crazy experience.
It's mad that you got to get a bus.
Yeah, it was like a big bus going from the village to the thing. Yeah, but
not like a public.
Oh no, it's not like an Arriva. Japanese bus pass on here. Yeah. 2 wheelchairs per
50p to the Olympic Village.
Sat next to 2 Japanese pensioners. Got fucking Mr. Miyagi sat next to you.
Someone listening to music that loud on the back seat.
Yeah, but there's a lot of riding on that match for me. So like that bronze medal match, like. It got me a wage increase for what I do. It gets me sponsorship.
Shit off, really? So you get a promotion for it?
Sort of, yes. So the way the UK sport funding works, I'm in this country where incredibly lucky the way the funding works. We get funded by UK sport and lottery funding.
Yeah. But I play the lottery regularly, so you're welcome.
Goes in my pocket. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Technically my bronze medal, really, when you think about it, isn't it?
Well, every time you win, you're kind of taking money away.
Exactly, yeah. So whoever wins the jackpot,
I win so much. Fucking constantly. Like, do you know what? I'm a fucker for the lottery. Is I buy about 5 fucking when it's like, so I don't play it until it's about 20 million. Yeah. And I'm like, it's worth my time now. And then what I do is I buy like 5 tickets.
Yeah.
And then I dine out on the thought of winning.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, I'll check the news and it'll go, lottery winner found in fucking Kent or something like that. And I go, oh, well, it's not me. And I just never check that lottery ticket. So I might have had 5 numbers And I'm just like, well, it's not. It's what's £100,000 to me? Do you know what I mean? So
Jack can have that.
Not asked. Not asked. They need it for bats. Apparently, the ones at the pound shop aren't good enough.
They need more buses at the village.
They need more lighter fluid for the prosthetic fingers. So
basically there's tiers of funding. So there's A, B, and C, which are your podium tiers, which are like your Paralympic medalists. So I think gold you get 28 grand a year, silver and bronze you get 22, and then what I was on was 14. So it's enough to cover your bills, your rent. I'm incredibly lucky for having that.
Yeah,
but I've just gone from 14 to 21 and a half.
Do you get? It's probably a personal question, so you don't need to answer it. Do you get that funding plus DLA?
Yeah. You get
Oh,
DLA.
right, okay.
Because
I was going to say, like... That.
Well, yeah, I mean, a DLA is not loads, though. Like, I only get I think it's like 300 quid a month is DLA on the high rate DLA.
Shit,
yeah, it's
really?
not low, because I got a car as well, so like, the car is part of the... So you don't get a car or... You get car or money, you don't get both.
Really?
So you get like a DLA allowance of or personal independence payment is called now. So you get a package of like, it must be like 700 quid, 600 quid, depending on your disability. But then if you get a car, they take that out your money, so it's not a free car. It comes out your money you get.
I genuinely thought it'd be about £1,000.
No. I think it might be if you're not eligible to work. So if you're very disabled and you can't feed yourself and that, maybe you get more. But for me, I can work in an office, so I don't get like all the benefits. You get what I mean? So yeah, I'm living off like 14, 15 grand a year at the moment, but then I'm getting my new wage increase next month, which goes to 21 and a half. So I've just in that one match, I've won like 7.5 grand a year.
Shit! If you lose at the next one, not that you will, you're going to win gold.
Yeah.
If you lose at the next one, does it go back down?
Yeah, well that's the issue. So there's no job security in what I do. So basically, they could take me out that funding whenever they want. There's no sort of contracts to go.
That's
why I try and actively look for sponsorships and which bit do I do the advert for. But I'm actively trying to find sponsors and stuff to get me up a bit more, because then I can be self-sustainable and not have to worry too much about losing my funding. Because like for me, I came from fuck all. I was born with no money. Like I was at 14 grand a year was loads to me. I was able to give my mum a few bob and help her out and stuff like that. But now I want to try and get a mortgage and do all that sort of stuff and live. But
so what does a sponsor get? So if they sponsor you,
so for a sponsor, I could wear their logo on my t-shirt. I travel the world, like 12 countries a year. I'm playing the league in Austria. I go around the country doing talks, motivational speaking. Be on your posters. I'll do anything for money, to be fair.
Right. Okay. So how much is that? Like,
it depends. I mean, it's just an open conversation of how much what I can do for them, what they do for us, and
right. Okay. Are
you thinking like picketed wheels on my?
No, I'm thinking a swastika.
I mean,
all right, limits, Jack. Yeah. Time for your motivational talk in Germany. Meeting your fucking rival, that gold medal winning prick.
Yeah, maybe we leave that one.
I just love the idea that he won the gold medal last time, and then you come back in 4 years' time with a stick in it. He's my sponsor. I swear to God.
I did get asked once. When I was a kid, there was a local butcher's round our way. And they said to me, like, we can sponsor you and stuff. And I was like, hey, what's it called? And they called eatmysausage.com. And I was like, I'm all right. Like, you know, like, I don't want that on the back of my t-shirt.
Wow.
I'm all right.
Why will no one let us sponsor
So I'm like, I'm all right. But like, yeah.
Eatmysausage.com. Imagine that as a butcher. Imagine the amount of people with a semi that are like, I don't want fucking pork loin. What the fuck is eatmysausage.com?
Yeah. So I turned that down, but because it was only free meat. But
look, if they wanted to,
it was only free meat. It was only free meat.
Didn't even pay me in money. Yeah, and they wouldn't even eat my sausage. How
much meat would it be?
I think it was like I was only like 14, 15, so my mum was made up with it. But I didn't.
Like a meat raffle.
Must be like I'm basically a meat raffle. Yeah.
Well, you were a kid at this point as well.
Yeah,
and I was like
probably 15, 16. Yeah.
Hope to get some of that Epstein money.
I mean, he did come in a white van thinking about it.
He said butcher.
Yeah. There's consent on the back of his t-shirt.
Yeah. There's that little...
did you meet this guy on the internet? Because I think he might be groomed.
There's that little disabled pedo bait kid again.
with his yellow bus trying to pick people up.
Go into his bus and play table tennis.
Table tennis.
Yeah. Table tennis. Fucking hell. Right, we're going to leave it there. It's been loads of fun. What we're going to do is we are going to call it now. We're going to have a break ourselves, and then we're going to record Pigoted Extra, on which I'm going to tell a little story about my first ever TV warm-up gig that I had last night, which is loads of fun. Spoiler alert, it involves me having to go on after cancer. So on several occasions. So you don't want to miss that. You can sign up to Pigoted Patreon, patreon.com/Pigoted. The best tier is literally £1 a week, £4 a month, and for that you get fucking shitloads of content, loads of extra episodes, and you get to help support the pod. Thank you to everybody who's already a Patreon. But again, for those of you that are, thinking about subscribing, then please do. Aside from the extra content, you also get access to Discord servers. You get to ask questions and stuff. So they've been asking questions for Jack that we're going to answer in the extra episode as well. So there's all that going on too. Before we go, have you got anything that you want to plug, Tom? No. You got a butcher's website, haven't you?
It's called
eatmydick.co.uk. Jack, is there anything you want to plug?
Just my social media. It's Jack HSTT on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm Jack Hunter-Spivey.
And make sure that you subscribe on all the podcast apps that you're listening to, and we will see you next week. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.